Hey, this is looking so much better. I wanted to do a little video for you to tell you what I was talking about. I'm going to just, for now, delete your image planes just to keep it a little bit more simple for the video. Looks like you put a bend on the cup. Not too sure about your bends, which if that's how you got this, that's completely fine, and then you can always go to Edit, Delete by Type History, and it removes those little extra bend things. Edit, Delete by Type History just keeps your file clean. Maya registers things as nodes, and it keeps a lot of information, and sometimes you don't need it all, so you can just do that. So all I would do here, I'm right mouse clicking and holding and going into face mode. You can click on one. I hit Q to remove my gizmo. Q is just your selection tool. So if you ever find that your move, rotate, or scale gizmo are in the way, you can hit Q. So I clicked on one face, I'll hold Shift and double click, but it doesn't seem to be selecting. So I'll just hold Shift and go all the way around. And get each of these loops selected. And then I will do an extrude. Now, before I do the extrude, especially with all the clicking, it's always smart to just make sure I don't have anything else selected. This bottom is looking really nice. And then I can just go to Edit Mesh, Extrude. I'm going to hit W on my keyboard for the Move tool, and then you can just drag it down. Now it looks like we have a bunch of extra information. So when you see things like this, you want to go back and make sure what we're dealing with. So I hit Z to undo. I'm going to go into vertex mode and just click and drag over vertice. So you can see I only have one selected, but it says that I have 4. To get this window, you want to go to Display, Heads Up Display, and then Poly Count. So you never want to have more than one in a spot. This happens a lot. It's not unusual if you're doing an extrude and you don't move something. Sometimes things just get doubled up. You can always go into a face mode, and let's see if I just click and drag in a face. It says I've got 2, but I have the second one selected. So you know it's just the vertices. So I'm going to go into vertex mode. And again, you need to do a little click and drag around it. Make sure we don't have anything else selected. And then I'm going to go to Edit Mesh and then Merge to Center. And what that'll do is take those 4 vertices that are at a spot and merge them. Nothing's going to change visually, but you can see I only have 1. So unfortunately, we're going to have to go around and do that with all of your vertices. Sometimes it's easier if we kind of look inside the cup, because then you can click and drag and I know that's the only selection I have. To speed along the process, we can use hotkey G, as in great. G redoes your last action. So I'm just going to make boxes around my vertices and then hit G. And you'll notice this is going from 4 to 1 every time. Whoop. I think I got all of them. Nope. Have to remember where I started. Okay, so what I'm going to want you to do is go through, unfortunately, all of these. But with hotkey G, it doesn't take too long. You can't do all of them at once, or they will all come to a point in the center. So what do I mean? If you're like, yeah, I need to merge these, they'll just come to one point. So that's why you have to go through and select and drag around each one. Now if I just click and let go on a vertice, it'll look like there's only one there. So that's why I need to do a little box selection around it. So once I clean this up, and you'll need to go all the way out, but just so I can show you what I'm talking about, that should clean up any issues that we were having. I think I got all of them. So I've only cleaned up these first two rows, so I'll go back into face mode and select the ring of faces that I want to deal with. And again, I can hit Q to get the gizmo out of the way. Edit mesh, extrude, hit W for my move tool, and drag that down. So then you can create the inside of the mug looking nice. When it comes to the handle, I mean, I think this is a pretty good start. It looks like this edge loop might be the only issue. You've connected it well. Let's check your vertices here. You may need to do a merge. Yeah. So we've got 3 vertices here. So edit mesh, merge to center, and you'll clean that up. So we'll do that on all sides here. And I'm just doing hotkey G to merge them again. Okay. So then I'm just going to go into edge mode, and if you see here, looks like these are actually separate. We've got some extra edges here. So sometimes it's easier to just delete some of your data and kind of connect from there. So let's see what we actually have going on here. When you see, try to get a zoom in, when you see edges like this that don't look like they have a face in them, they actually do. So I'm in edge mode, I'm going to click and drag, and now you can see the faces. So now I can go into face mode and delete these. Alright, so we got same edges up here. And if this part is confusing, I can show you another way. So if you don't want to go through all this, I'm actually going to undo to what you had before. But you can clean it up, and then like how we merged your vertices on your mug, you can merge them on your handle. Okay, so we can go into face mode, and I'm going to select all these and delete them. I know it probably took you a long time to do that, and I appreciate it. Sometimes it's just a little bit easier to start again and start a little bit more simply. Alright, so we've got your mug. And I'm going to just merge these vertices. Looks like we have, I don't know if you can see this pretty well, but we've got another face in here. So I can delete this face. And over here, same thing. Delete that face. Move this back in. Alright. And you know, if you have a saved version that you want to use, that's fine. whatever is easiest. So edge mode, I will grab the 4 edges that make up, oops, would help if I press shift and not caps lock. So 4 edges that make up your little handle here, edit mesh, extrude. I always hit W on my keyboard instead of using the extrudes gizmo because it sets it up to be a little bit more centered. So I always like to start simply and then you can add detail. So I've moved that out. I'm going to rotate a little bit, pull it back. Okay. And then I can do an edit mesh, extrude again. Let me rotate this up a little bit. You can always go in and with your vertices, you can just move them around. So if I hold shift and I grab these 2 vertices, I can always move them up, over, whatever you want. You can also hit scale, and if you scale 2 vertices, you can see it tries to straighten them out. Alright, so if I do these 2 and scale, I'm getting more of a straight line, and scale. So it's a lot of back and forth, and you know, again, it's not going to look perfect right when you start. So don't feel like it needs to be perfection, but you can always mold it. So I've only done 2 extrudes here. I could do 2 more and then connect it to the top. Then I can insert some edge loops. Also, don't forget in your rotate tool, you can always go to object if you want to deal with your object. World is based on the coordinates of the grid. You can always reset the tool, but if you find that you're having issues with any of the move, rotate, and scale, you can do it that way. Okay, so it looks like these need to be moved over to be in line. I'll use your cup as a guide and kind of match those up. Move those in. Okay, so then I would do right mouse click and go into edge mode. I double clicked and it selected the loop, and then edit mesh, extrude, hit W so that I get my move tool, move it up in space, rotate it a little bit, move it a little bit. So again, this is a very crude handle so far, but you can add details to it. So then once you have this kind of close here, we can go right mouse click into vertex mode, and then I just want to move the vertices to be close to my cup because I'm going to merge these together. So then I can grab the vertices here, and it looks like you've got some extra ones, so cleaning up the whole thing's going to help. But merge to center, do the same over here. Making sure you don't have anything selected on the other side of the cup. And I hit G to redo my last action. And there you have your handle. It's fully attached. Yes, it needs a little bit of work, but it's there. So then we can always go to Mesh Tools and insert edge loop. And then you can click and drag on the cup, and then we're inserting edge loops and you can start to shape it out. So again, Mesh Tool, insert edge loop. You can click on a perpendicular edge. I haven't let go of the mouse yet, so you can click and drag and let go. And then I'm just using my move tool or rotate tool, whatever I want, and you can start shaping your handle out. All right, I know that was a lot, and I know sometimes my videos go fast, but I want to get a lot of information to you, so feel free to watch it, ask questions, anything that you need, let me know. All right, have a good one.